And congratulations to both teams for making it this far in competition. Can we get a round of applause? We've obviously been watching you in the previous rounds, and based on your performances so far, we expected it to be a good match between Customs and Trelawny Municipal Corporation. We think this is going to be one for the books. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, though, it's a pity. It's a pity that there can only be one winner emerging from today. I mean, I think we'd have loved to see both of you in the finals. But personally, but so it is. My name is Andre Palmer. I'm the chair judge for this match, and the wing judges are Cleveland. All of the rules from the previous round remain the same in terms of speaker times. At the end of the first minute, you'll hear the ding of a bell. In the last minute, when you're entering your final minute, you'll also hear the ding of a bell. When you've used up all of your time, you'll hear two dings. After which you'll have 15 seconds to complete your final thoughts. And at that point, you'll hear consistent dinging, which means you have to stop. Nothing you say beyond that point will be considered in the deliberations at all. So it's pointless anyway. The first minute and the last minute are protected time, so you will not be allowed to ask or accept points of information during those times. And no point of information will be allowed during the 5 minutes. Any questions at all? Any? No? We're on. Okay, excellent. Yes. The motion before the House today is, the moot is, all public sector workers should be classified as part of the essential services and therefore not be allowed to strike. In proposition, we have the Jamaica Customs Agency, and in opposition, we have the Trelawny Municipal Corporation. That's what you guys have? Excellent. With that being said, we invite the first speaker from the Jamaica Customs Agency to open this debate.
Honorable judges, and worthy opponents, and ladies and gentlemen of the respected chairing bodies, good afternoon. The moot being debated today is being resolved that all public sector workers should be classified as part of the essential services and therefore should not be allowed to strike. Now we've examined the moot, and we know that the Oxford Dictionary defines allow to mean having the right to. And as such, we would like to put forward our definition of the moot. And that is being resolved that all public sector workers should be classified as part of the essential services and should not have a right to strike. Now we will now explore some key definitions in the moot. And the first, as per the National Housing Trust, public sector workers are defined as persons employed in government ministries, departments, agencies, statutory bodies, government companies, educational institutions, and local government authorities. However, for the purposes of this debate, we would like to define public sector workers as those government workers involved in the offering or performance of monopolistic services solely provided by the government. Now, we would like to propose that those workers currently employed to government-owned companies and educational institutions be excluded from the definition of public sector workers. I said it.
So you are saying the moot says all, but you are singling out a particular.
Yes, and we have to, and we understand why, and we will explain why as I go through my presentation. Now, we believe the government of Jamaica should continue with the divesting of such entities which employ such workers that do not operate in monopolistic services. We do believe that capitalism should reign in those sections and allow for free and fair competition in those services. So we don't regard them as being essential. So what is an essential service? It means a service whether provided by a public or private undertaking without which the safety, health, or welfare of the community or section of the community would be endangered or seriously prejudiced. And that is so defined by the International Labour Organization. Well, let us state that to accommodate all public sector workers under the umbrella of essential services, that we have further expanded the definition of essential services. And it reads for us that it's any service, including any monopoly service, whether rendered by the government or to any other person, the interruption of which will endanger or engender or hinder the operation of any government entity or the life, health, or personal safety of the whole or part of the population. So you can understand why there are certain government companies that clearly don't offer essential services. For example, Devon House or University of Technology, both government companies, and both who employ currently public sector workers, but those services are also offered by other institutions. Now, as per the Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act, a strike means a concerted stoppage of work by a group of workers in contemplation or furtherance of an industrial dispute. And I put it to you, my worthy opposition, that all public sector workers provide monopolistic services to all Jamaicans, and the absence of which will have a detrimental social and financial effect on the entire nation. However, public sector workers currently enjoy the freedom to strike, a freedom currently not enjoyed by the workers of the essential services. So why do we believe that public sector workers should not enjoy this right?
Point of information.
Accepted.
As you said, the public sector workers enjoy the freedom to strike, and so too the essential services. They have the freedom to strike, but not the right to strike.
Correct. So as we have defined, our rule speaks to the right to strike, and we will explain why as I further my presentation. Rights are freedoms enjoyed that if exercised are given legal pride of place. We however note that the enjoyment of these freedoms or rights are subject to the respect for the rights and freedoms of others and the interests of the public. So, do we have to ask who serves the public? And if allowed to strike, will the public's interest be served? So let me paint a picture for you. You currently, not accepting, you currently benefit from the work of public sector workers, correct? And you are disenfranchised when they strike. Now you cannot look at this in isolation and think selfishly that you want to be able to strike, but others must be there to serve you, providing essential services. It is selfish. Now, after much research into the history of the debated topic, we have seen that many have attempted to argue that workers have a fundamental human right to strike. I stand here before you, honorable judges, and I implore you to reject that notion, specifically as it relates to public sector workers. We know specifically that our Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act specifies that workers' essential services are restricted in taking strike action. That is, strike action from these workers is deemed illegal, but not accepted. But the law also provides circumstances under which even those workers can take strike action and it not be deemed illegal. But the circumstances and conditions are in the extreme, and there are buffers and preventative measures to bring us to those extremes we realize. Now we will go further to say categorically that it is not the right to strike that workers enjoy, but it is the right to work. A right recognized and enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Labour Organization. The International Labour Organization has also flirted with the idea of recognizing the right to strike, but they have noted that they cannot accept same. Now, our opponents might try to convince you that the absence of this non-existent right to strike is akin to forceful labor or even slavery. But I will put it to you and further to them, honorable judges, that they should never come here today to make such a slanderous comparison. As they would be doing a gross disservice and dare I say injustice to the reality that our forefathers and mothers faced during the times of slavery. We are here to put a few things to you today, and that is that there's a significant outcome in whatever, there should be no significant outcome in whatever terms of strike action, that there are severe direct and indirect negative outcomes from the strike actions of public sector workers in the past, And that strike action is both selfish and immature. Thank you, brother.
We would like to thank the first proposition speaker from the Jamaica Customs Agency. We now invite the first opposition speaker from the opposing team to table the response.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you alluded to our forefathers, and I'll open by saying, a people without a knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Words of our first national hero, Marcus Messiah Garvey. You see, ladies and gentlemen, our heroes, which our first opposition speaker alluded to, they fought valiantly for our freedom. In fact, the National Library of Jamaica informs us that Samuel Sharp and his congregation decided that after Christmas Day, 1831, that they would cease to work as slaves. They would take strike actions. Daddy Sharp and the other slaves, they knew that they were essential to the plantation, but they knew that the treatment being meted out to them at that time was unfair, and so they went on the strike to protect the workers' rights. And so today we say thank God for those heroes. Thank God for Daddy Sharp, and thank God for the strike. Mr. Speaker, panel of adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The motion put before us today is be resolved all public sector workers should be classified as part of essential services and therefore not allowed to strike. And this motion, we are in total opposition to. In opposition on two grounds. One, we oppose the motion of classifying all public sector workers as part of the essential services. And two, we oppose the argument that fundamentally breaches the public sector workers' freedom to strike, be they essential or non-essential. Now, I noted that the first speaker on proposition, he came and he was presenting on the motion all, but narrowed it down to a particular set. But the definition that I want us to look at for all is the whole amount as given by the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So we are not looking at a particular, not at this time, a particular set. We are looking at all. And even if we were to look at a particular set, we still reserve the freedom to strike. Ladies and gentlemen, we also noticed that the first proposition speaker mentioned that there has been no advancement or
point of information.
I'll get to you. Benefits derived from going on strike. But I just ask you to just wait and listen because my third speaker will come to that accepted.
We would like to ask that are the Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaica Defense Force classified as public sector workers?
Not based on the Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act, and they are governed by a particular act.
Here.
The Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act, which you asked me about just now, in its first schedule, it lists essential services as water services, electricity, health, hospitals, sanitary, firefighting, correctional, overseas telecommunications, civil aviation services connected with loading and unloading, and services connected with oil refining. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as per speaker, I will explore the essential services and highlight why there is no merit in classifying all public sector workers in this regard. And I will also present the type of strike that we propose and the parameters for this strike. And so because you had mentioned earlier that there is no strike that can prove beneficial, let me just point you to our policy from no, the strike that we are proposing is that all public sector workers should be able to strike as this freedom is recognized by the act. Now, you can strike in our policy for a period of 24 hours over 2 days.
Point of information.
Not at this time, not in times of disaster, epidemic, or major exam. Why would we strike? We would strike only after field negotiations and if there is an immediate threat to health or safety. No, ladies and gentlemen, having followed all the procedures as outlined in Section 9 of the Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act, the unions representing the various public sector workers will issue a 10-day notice that there's an impending strike. Now, the strike that we propose is a sit-in. We can take it to the streets in a loud and boisterous way. So we're saying that all the workers will show up for work, but we will sit in. We will be taking passive strike action now, ladies and gentlemen, because we are public sector workers and we put the nation first. We include a clause in our policy. So we are saying that once we want to send the government a message, we are also saying that if our strike poses immediate threats, the union reserves the right to call off the striking for the interest of the greater good, the interest of the nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go back to the part about making all public sector workers essential. You see, we liken the public sector to the parts of the body, and we recognize that each organ has its particular function. Each body member has its particular function. It is important. But to say that it is essential is just totally ludicrous. And so you know that you cannot function without your heart. But if you lose your finger, you can't just go on and you function just the same. I mean, if I am to lose my heart, my body is now in a state of emergency and my heart becomes a zone of special operation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all important, but we aren't all essential.
Here.
So essential are these services outlined in the 5th schedule that the holidays and public and weekends become a figment of their imagination. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't classify all workers as essential. As for the Jamaica Land Services and the municipal corporations, they are important but not essential.
Here.
You see, Mr. Speaker, while the opposition concedes that the right to strike does not exist in Jamaica in any sector, we also take note that the freedom to strike is respected under the Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act. We are saying that striking is going to be the last resort after following all the procedures outlined. When we cannot get that amicable solution, when we cannot get the government to act in the interest of the workers and the interest of the nation as a whole, then we will have to strike because we are public sector workers. As I said to you today, opposition and members of the audience, it is our freedom to strike that we are here to debate today.
Thank you very much to the first speaker from Team Opposition. We now invite the second speaker from Team Opposition to continue the line of arguments.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker of the opposition came and quoted Marcus Mosaic and mentioned the passive response from Sandra. But I put it to you, my worthy opponents, that the other propositions that are not ignorant to the significant role that strike action may have played in the past. We do recall National Hero Sam Sharp and his passive resistance, and also the labor riot of 1938 led by Sir Alexander Bustamante. However, since the turn of the millennium, we have seen significant changes in the labor laws and regulations, which have further empowered the employee and negated any need for strike action from essential service workers. As such, strike actions since the year 2000 have yielded negligible returns for the public sector workers in the furtherance of better compensation, better working conditions, and increased job security. Honorable judges, my worthy opponents, colleagues all, I stand in solidarity with my first speaker that all public sector workers should be classified as part of the essential services and should not have a right to strike. Strike actions, ladies and gentlemen, are deleterious and negative, and strike actions on a company's economy. In a study carried out by the University of the Western Cape in South Africa, examining the economic impact of industrial action activities in South Africa, carried out between the years 2003 and 2014, it showed that workers' rights to strike in South Africa are embedded in its constitution. But the study further states that, and I quote, that strike actions are harmfully disastrous and led to various problems in the economy, such as reduced production, scaring off investors, and having labor replaced by capital, unquote. And so I show you the socio-economic effects of strike action. The study also shows, not this time, that had strikes not happened in South Africa in 2010, instead of a negative growth of minus 1.41% in that year, the real gross value added, which is the contribution to the economy, would have grown by 1.52%. Can you imagine seeing a reduction in foreign direct investments in Jamaica FDIs as a result of strike actions? FDIs, which as of October 2018 stood at US $587.7 million, according to trading economies. I put it to you, my worthy opponents, that reclassification of public sector workers as essential services would yield more fruit than if we continue in the way we are continuing now. Consider, not at this time, consider the strike actions of public sector workers over the last 2 decades that have denied critical services to the Jamaican people in the areas of health, education, and security, which have not resulted in any appreciable change in circumstances which necessitated this strike. As such, strikes do not only have economic effects, they can also impact the social fiber of the economy.
Point of information.
Not accepted. There are no significant outcomes from strike actions. Gains that have been achieved by public sector workers over the last 2 years did not come from strike action, but through collective bargaining. Mind you, the negotiations may have been long and arduous and possibly contentious, but the gains did not come as a result of strike actions. The gains came from all parties concerned sitting together and ironing out their issues, while public service continue to be accessed by all. And that is why we say, and will continue to say, that all public sector workers should be classified as part of essential services and should not have a right to strike. The European Union's revised social charter show that in Italy, for example, public services are treated as necessary for the realization of fundamental rights and are established in the Constitution. They are considered universal, their aim being to promote economic and social development. In countries like Germany, Austria, Denmark, and Estonia, public servants do not have the right to strike either, in order to ensure the continuity of public services and in return of security of their jobs. Is Jamaica an exception? I put it to you that we are no exception, not in this climate where we are working towards realizing Vision 2030. In Turkey, for example, a law banning public servants from striking was passed in 2001, not at this time. This special case was accepted by the International Labour Organization, which considers that the principle of freedom of association for civil servants does not include the right to strike. Consider the Jamaica Customs Agency, where October core mandates are revenue of our border protection and trade facilitation. What if Jamaica Customs Agency employees were to go on strike? Can you imagine the effects on the economy where our borders not being protected? Can you imagine the economic fallout where trade facilitation is concerned, with Jamaica being a major transshipment hub? I put to you also, ladies and gentlemen, put this headline, Jamaica Observer, for example, education bangarang, public sector teachers take strike action. Who are impacted? You, the nurse, staff members of the Trelawny Municipal Corporation, who now have to find accommodation for your child or children because of the teachers being on strike action. Who are impacted? And such, ladies and gentlemen, EU's revised social charter, while strikes continue to form an essential ultimate tool for employees to improve their conditions, we affirm that public sector workers should be classified as part of the essential services, and they should not be allowed to strike. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the second speaker from the opposition. We now invite the second speaker from the opposing team to continue that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The task is mine to examine the evolution of the trade union and show how they have engaged in the collective bargaining to include strike action for the protection and promotion of workers' rights. Strike, strike, strike. Mr. Speaker, isn't it ironic that team proposition would want to deny public sector workers the freedom to strike when the very base of our labor movement in Jamaica and the formulation and foundation of our two main political parties have their genesis from a strike? In fact, our freedom as a nation, as outlined by my first speaker, resulted from strike action by our heroes. The 1930s is a watershed period in the annals of the history of Jamaica, and particularly the history of the labor movement and evolution of trade unions. The protest and struggle of the laboring class come to fore in 1938. Last meter, in a Jamaica Observer article published on May 6, 2018, informed us that May 23, 1938 is considered a turning point in the history of the march toward human rights, the empowerment of labor, economic betterment for a majority of the population, and the birth of the trade union. I say it is ironic again, as the second speaker from the proposition spoke about our educators, not allowed to strike. Is it that school is a big daycare for our children, and the people our educators have pressing needs and have the proper channels have been followed and they are not getting the results? I
Point of information.
Not at this time. The 1938 labor uprising symbolized the birth of collective efforts towards better working conditions, higher wages, the way of organizing and strengthening advocacy for the workers. Ladies and gentlemen, these unions, they mediate on behalf of the workers, and when the desires in the interest of the workers are not met, and after exhausting all bargaining options, they organize strike actions to protect and promote the rights of workers. Team proposition to forbid the public sector workers from striking would no doubt all gains achieved for workers' rights, which we all enjoy today. It is without question that Jamaica would not be where we are today without a strong display of fortitude, resilience, and devotion of our heroes and trade unionists, who, because of their very action through labor movement resulting in strike, have underpinned and solidified the very foundation of our existence. It is incumbent on your generation and my generation to preserve this legacy. Team proposition, we cannot forbid the workers freedom to strike. Trade unions afford us the avenue to strike, and the Labor Relations and Industrial Dispute Act makes provision for same. Mr. Speaker, the labor movement has been the most important historical driver of labor standards and workers' rights, driven by trade unions, which have frequently been in the forefront of wider struggles for political change, democracy, and social justice. So to prohibit public sector workers from striking through the unions would be an insult to our ancestors, weaken the latitude of the trade union, and discredit the gain to be had from efforts of collective bargaining, which would be in direct opposition to our freedom as workers. Trade unions exist because individual workers have very little power to influence decisions that are made about their jobs. By joining together with other workers, there is more chance of having a voice and influence. Trade unions provide leadership and direction of the bargaining table, provide amicable solutions to disputes and potential labor upheavals before resort to a strike action. And listen to this. Lest we forget the wage freeze cover in 2010 to 2012 period. It was the very trade unions which represented public sector workers skillfully negotiating and signing up on a wage deal. Thus a strike is never the first line of action, and the government acting in the interest of the people and the nation as a whole would never allow it to reach that far. So, Mr. Speaker, and my word, as public sector workers, lest we forget the sacrifice made by our forefathers, the same forefathers that you mentioned, and ponder on the fact that there are few rights workers have won without a struggle, and that is not slavery. The right to strike has been crucial and fundamental to the labor movement. It is about creating democratic and equitable society and for sustainable in the long run. These tenets we should never at any time hold or take for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you very much. To the second speaker from the opposing team for substantive arguments, you know, but the third speaker from team opposition close the substantive bit for the opposing team.
Honorable judges, my worthy opponents, let me just begin by setting the context straight. We acknowledge that there may have been gains and from strike action, but we are not here proposing that strike is the way out. In fact, we do not have any evidence to support that strike action is the ideal way, and which is why we stand here to say, no, we should not allow strike. But not just that, that we should appreciate that all our colleagues that the Trelawny Municipal Council and many other entities, corporations, are providing essential services to the government. And so when you posit that some should be laid aside, then we can't buy that. And we are not proposing, second speaker, that we disregard the value of our educators, because we're not saying schools are daycares. We're saying that when teachers have to strike, you have to be away from work when that affects the economy, because someone needs to stay with the child, and it should not, the workplace is not a daycare. We continue. Not accepted. I posit that as we move forward in creating an environment where there's an appreciation for essential services, that we foster a greater environment for negotiation. That you just positive. We are pro-negotiation, and as a former Minister of Labor and Social Security said, that the economic climate has changed, the labor relations climate has matured. Former Minister Charles suggested that, and we are proposing that in enhancing that right to negotiate, we appreciate the role of the unions in that perspective, and we posit that in strengthening it, you should have a collective bargaining arrangement that requires that in a legislative framework, 2 years leading up to the beginning of the financial year, to which an increase, for instance, is relevant, that legislatively as we move toward it regarding all as essential, that there is a system in place where negotiations begin 2 years in advance. And when it gets to 6 months before the financial year, if there is no agreement, my worthy opponent, that the matter be elevated to the IDT, the Industrial Dispute Tribunal, which has already been working for public sector workers without a strike. We do not accept it. We posit that as we regard the monopolistic nature of the services that the government offers, my worthy opponent, that when we allow strikes in the essential services, it cannot be helpful to neither us nor the public that we are called upon to serve. The Fraser Institute has, in assessment of labor relations across the world, has posited that the critical services that the governments across the world and in this particular country provides to the public, if they are not subjected to competition, and we obviously know that there is no other entity that can give approval to certain building in our parishes. No, if they are not subjected to competition, our citizens ought not to be subjected to the denial of service. So when the Accountant General Department workers decide they're going to strike because the building is sick, and they decide that they're going to lock shop. We're not saying that that's not important, but we're saying we're promoting the fostering of an environment where negotiation is not accepted by it. That we do not propose that be the way to go. We cannot deny our public sector workers who have labored for many years and want to access their pension from accessing it. We cannot allow those who rely on PAR to, when they visit the post office, they realize that they can't access their PAR benefits because the workers are striking. Not accepted, Madam Police proposal. Because that there should be the establishment of a wage and benefits board that deals with the interim matters that may emerge out of disgruntlement that might exist among our public sector workers. We propose that there is regard for the well-being of our public sector workers, so like the millennials, they want to feel a part of the process, and they are becoming the ones who are leaving the public sector. We want the government to put in place measures as they regard classification electrification of all services as essential, that it's the infrastructure, the OSH, the occupational health and safety guidelines are protected and the well-being of the workers are regarded. My word opponents, we put it to you that we are not pro-strike because the environment has changed. We put it to you that we are not pro-strike because we are a maturing public sector. We put it to you that the increase that we get in this month did not come out of the strike. It came out of adequate negotiation. You work every day. We can assure you of that. My word opponent, put it to you that we cannot be pro-strike because when we strike on ourselves because we are the government. So let us build a relationship with our employees and move to make Jamaica that place that is characterized by the public sector, my friend, that is moving towards making Jamaica that place of choice to live, work, raise families and do business. We are the ones who own that process. No to strike. We are essential and we should regard ourselves as such. None is not important.
Thank you very much to the third speaker for your spirited. We now invite the third and final speaker to disclose the substantive before team opposition.
Judges, team opposition, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We are not saying that the strike is a way out. We are saying it's a last resort measure. Now, according to SUCA, in May 1st, 2018 article, essential needs for workers to strike. If the government don't want us to strike, they should allow for competition. For example, instead of holding a monopoly on this, say for example, if a supermarket should strike, for example, because there are so many supermarkets, who not necessarily affect the entire nation, allow for competition unless you're going to allow strikes to take place. Mr. Speaker, since year 2000, you're saying that the proposition is saying there have been little benefits on strikes, but I'm here to show you today that strikes should not be viewed only in a negative light and must be seen beneficial, a critical weapon that can protect individuals from danger while simultaneously improving working conditions, not at the time wages and influencing policy. There are conditions that exist in our work environment that promotes unhealthy practices that will endanger life, personal safety, and the health of the public. Strikes have been a proven weapon to get the government to act swiftly for the greater good of this country and not necessarily be disruptive or unruly as postulated by team proposition. Take for example, at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where lab technicians went on strike protesting against unhealthy and unsafe working conditions, such as cramped working quarters, lack of proper bathroom facilities, risk of exposure to HIV samples, noxious fumes, which caused the workers to fall ill months after months. And insult to injury. Instead of the government closing down this facility at the clear and present danger, they had to wait until the nurses joined the strike and beg their position. Isn't it striking that it's strike the proposition that is after the strike? It's after the strike that the Cornwall Regional Hospital was designated a national crisis. Do you hear of any critically ill patient or any patient at all not getting any care? We could have had an HIV outbreak. We could have had a widespread respiratory problem. We could have had a genocide. What we had was a peaceful and controlled strike that safeguarded the fundamental rights, safety, and health of employees and citizens of this country. Mr. Speaker, when the government and the union can't come to an agreement, strikes are like 100-meter finals at the Beijing Olympics, resulting in record-breaking signing that seemed to be a marathon before. The strikes were relevant then, and strikes are still relevant now. They deliver improved and fair wages, because the balance of power is tilted in the employer's favor, and the strikes are one of the tools that can be used to leverage.
Here, here.
We are seeing in this country from time to time where nurses and teachers, for example, have resorted to a strike as a last weapon to get the full attention of the government. It was then and only then that the government seemed fully concerned and responsive to the needs of public service. Mr. Speaker, no teacher, for example, wants to jeopardize the education of our young people.
Here, here.
Only to use strikes as a last resort measure to resolve the situation urgently and seriously so that they can do what they love doing. And that to me is the striking true, Mr. Speaker.
Here,
The
here.
proposition can't stop a lightning strike that has shut down our airspace, but want to shut down labor strikes that are beneficial. The proposition is lightning, destructive to the public sector reform. Even workers at the Narada Backside Company went on strike because they were unfairly treated, where the Ministry of Labor was reluctant to amend their terms of reference. 3 years without contract, 3 years without being paid the right salary, 3 years losing benefits, 3 years too long, and it took one strike.
Here,
Not
here.
no strike for a meeting to be organized the very next day, and the TOR was signed by the minister. Mr. Speaker, show me a country without strikes, and I will show you a country without liberty. Samuel Gompers. Mr. Speaker, the public sector workers should not be classified as part of the essential services and should not be allowed to strike. Because when the public sector strikes, working conditions and wages improve. But when the lightning strikes, everyone will run.
We would like to thank the third speaker from Team Opposition for electrifying presentation. At this point, we will pause for 60 seconds to allow both teams to gather final thoughts in preparation for the reply speeches, after which we will invite the opposition first, then followed by the proposition who will close the debate. Your 60 seconds start now. That's the end of your final, well, your 1 minute plus an additional few seconds because you're feeling particularly generous. We will now invite the opposition reply speaker, table rebuttal, followed by the proposition to close this debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take notes, and we have said it, and we will maintain. All public sector workers are important, but not all are essential. We were waiting to hear the list of those public sectors that hold that monopoly that you would want to amalgamate under that umbrella. So I don't know when we are going to hear that. You mentioned that your grandmother, the old lady, should not turn up at the post office only to see it closed or policy open. And that adequate notice would be given that there is an impending strike. And so the government acting in the interest of the nation through whatever PR means it chooses would be the ones to inform the population that there is an impending strike. And so the strike is not going to take anybody by surprise. We also want you to recognize that you said that in the modern context, strikes don't yield positive results. But I'm hoping that you were listening to my first speaker because, ladies and gentlemen, as public sector workers, the interest of the nation is what we should see as priority, and that we see, and because of that, we don't see strike as our first resort. We see it as the last resort. And so when the unions and when we moved into the nurses and the lab technicians, as original, would have met with the relevant authority, and nothing was done to protect the interest of the workers and the patients. They had to strike, and that is the reason Cornwall Regional is now the national crisis. Not because of sitting down and talking, but because of the strike. Open your eyes and see the value to the added. Ladies and gentlemen, the Labor Relations and Industrial Disputes Act, it outlines who essential service workers are, and it still gives provision for their freedom to strike. We accept that we want the right, but the freedom should not be taken from us. Because if our forefathers never fought for our freedom, if they never strive for our freedom, we could not be here today to debate this motion. So we want you to recognize that striking is not what we are saying, it's the way forward. But we are saying, give us the freedom to strike so that when the government refuses to give us that proper working condition, then we have something that will force their arm. You agree with us that trade unions are good, but it's not always about the talk. And I want to borrow something, and I will tell you that beautiful negotiations can bring improved conditions. Beautiful negotiations can't force the government to act. Beautiful negotiations alone can't yield freedom for the heroes fight for. Ladies and gentlemen, a strike action will last.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Drama and to the reply speaker. You know, the reply speaker from Team Proposition closes today.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Contentious, arduous, difficult are the words we use to describe wage negotiations. We never said they would be beautiful. We said they would be painstaking and hard, as outlined by my second speaker. It is unfortunate that the opposition has chosen to be unconscionable and almost one-time unethical. But we are happy that they have accepted our position, which we clearly stated, you cannot remove someone's freedom. However, the right to strike should be truncated. They have came and they have argued our point for us on several occasions where they have said that even in the labor law, which I stated as first speaker, still gives provisions for the workers in essential services to strike, but only after specific conditions have been met. We didn't come here to argue about someone's freedom. Please don't, you have the freedom to go and murder someone. It does not make it right, and it does not make it legal. We are saying that that legal provision should be removed, but should still be following in the law that applies to the essential services. Now, the freedom to strike does not profit any worker, nor does it protect any worker from reprisal from the employer. However, if we give them the right to strike They can strike willingly and at any point in time, including public sector workers. I would like to know that our opposition came here today and they gave several examples. And all the examples they gave were of essential service workers striking. They should know. Cornwall Regional is a hospital, so classified. The services of a hospital under essential services. They should know that they have spoken about all the benefits done in the past, but they have not spoken to any benefit that public sector workers have derived from striking in modern day time. And we will put it forward to them that every instance that strikes have been enacted by public sector workers in the last 20 years, they've gone back to the table and accepted the same offer that they offered they went and strike for. We are saying that there is no need for a strike. We should be mature and sensible and respect that with all rights, there must always be the right of the protection of the public's interest. And if public sector workers are to strike, the protection of the public's interest would not have been met. It is so entrenched in our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, all the benefits of the past gave us the right to no longer need the use of the tool of strike in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reply speaker from Chief Opposition concluding this debate. In the spirit of the public sector debate competition, we invite both teams to cross the door and shake hands.
Pausing.